heavyweight champion of the world, the Croatian sensation, Pat Miletic.
So the judges render the decision to Pat Miletic, the Croatian sensation. Miletic victorious against Mikey Burnett in the decision given just a moment ago. These two demonstrated great pride and great conditioning. Mikey struck, but the guard and the experience of Miletic pays off in the end. Our first ever lightweight champion of the world is Pat Miletic. He is octagon side with Jeff Blatnick and the chairman, Bob Myrowitz.
I'm here both with SEG chairman Bob Myrowitz and our winner and our new lightweight champion, Pat Miletic. Bob, I believe you have something you want to give our new champion.
Pat, congratulations as our first official lightweight champion. That was one of those matches that go down in the history of the UFC, a real war. Great strategy, great to watch. Congratulations. Both you and Mikey deserve a lot of credit. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Pat, let me ask you, what do you think the difference was in that fight? It was close quarters the whole way, not a lot of space to get some big strikes in.
The main thing I wanted to do was, hit him with some leg kicks, close the gap, grapple with him, and try and get him in a submission. The guy's got great balance, very powerful. I mean, unbelievable how strong he is. Very few guys I've ever rolled around with that are that strong. You know, that fight was too close for one of us to deserve the belt, I think. He's a champ. That's all there is to it. He's a great athlete.
Well, you're being very humble and very gracious, and certainly that respect goes a long way towards the sport of mixed martial arts. Pat, you're now the champion. Do you feel that victory and your plan on trying to outcondition him was the difference?
You know, I think that we both paced ourselves a little bit. I think his power wears you out more than most people do. That's one thing that I was concerned about. I thought I had better endurance than he did, but I knew his strength was going to tax me a little bit, and it did. Yeah.
Well, you certainly did a great job. Who's out there that you want to face in the lightweight division?
Rumina Sato from Japan. I would really like to fight him, and I wouldn't mind fighting in the middleweight division. Of course, I couldn't fight John Lober because he's a good friend of mine, an old training partner, but if Shamrock happens to beat him, which I hope John wins because we're very good friends, but Frank's a good guy too, but if Frank wins, maybe they'll give me a chance to eat some cinnamon rolls and go up to middleweight and fight him.
Well, congratulations from Iowa, our new lightweight champion, Pat Miletic. Back to you, Mike.
Yes, coming up, our second heavyweight matchup on the road to the heavyweight title, David Tank Abbott, the bad boy of the UFC, against another Brazilian here tonight in Pedro Rizzo. Tank Abbott and Pedro Rizzo, this is a fight that they have been talking about here in Sao Paulo because of Tank's reputation, taking on someone from this proud country. He is from Rio de Janeiro. His hero is Marco Ruas. We were told by Pedro that he is absolutely excited about tonight's opportunity to fight, and he calls this the most important fight of his life.
Yeah, that's why I think this fight will be the most important fight in my life. That's why I trained very hard for this. So, but I think Tank has more. How can I say? He's a very good experienced fighter. So, if Tank beat me, he beat me one more guy. If I beat him, everybody gonna know me. I think all the responsibilities to him.
He calls it Ujas Valetudo in respect to his hero Marco Ruas. He started at age 14 did Pedro Rizzo, and Marco not in his corner because he just lost a tough fight in Japan. And in Japan, this man David Tank Abbott defeated Yoji Anjo. Last time at UFC 17, he pummeled Hugo Duarte. And listen to the reaction here in Brazil for the entrance of David Tank Abbott. Any place, any time. David Tank Abbott, 500-pound bench press, 475 pounds on the incline, sets of 4, 115-pound dumbbell curls, 268 pounds, 33 years old. In Brazil to fight tonight in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Inside the octagon for the official introduction as we continue our road to the heavyweight title, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our next heavyweight super fight. Beginning with the fighter standing to my left. He is a Vale Tudo fighter with a mixed martial arts record of 6-0 and a kickboxing record of 31-1. Standing 6 feet, 1 inch tall, weighing in at 228 pounds. He's fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and making his octagon debut. Please welcome Pedro Rizzo. And his opponent, standing to my right. This warrior is a well-known veteran of the octagon. He is here tonight competing in his 9th UFC, standing 6 feet tall, weighing in at 268 pounds. You all know him as the pit fighter from Huntington Beach, California. Please welcome the one, the only, David Tank Abbott!
Of cheers and boos brings a smirk to Tank Abbott's face. He has no love or respect for the martial arts or its practitioners. Here is your tale of the tape. Tank 9 years older and 40 pounds heavier than Pedro Rizzo out of Rio de Janeiro, 24 years old. Marco Ruas's top student, the 4-time Brazilian Muay Thai champion, against this man, the most experienced man in the octagon. The man he calls himself the only real fighter in the UFC. There's our referee, John McCarthy. He's ready to get it underway.
Here we go, gentlemen. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on!
Here we go! Heavyweight anticipation tonight. Tank with a bull rush. This is how he came out against Duarte. Oh, Tank goes down, and he's delivered a shot again. Rizzo connected twice.
He caught Tank flush both times.
Rizzo stunned Tank.
Tank went down. He was definitely stunned, but that might have woke him up. Now the Bear's mad. How will Rizzo handle that?
Now Rizzo was already cut under its left eye. So if you see blood under there, don't be surprised. There is some blood from the ear of Tank Abbott. Tank came out with a big burst of gas. He is heavier than he was in UFC 17 by about 18 pounds.
He also was chasing Rizzo uncontrollably, allowing Rizzo to pick a spot to go ahead and hit him back. Tank Abbott was definitely stunned on 2 good shots. The first one put him down to his knees.
We are just a minute in, and man, there's some strikes being thrown. Oh, Tank answers the kick.
Traded a kick for a good punch there.
I find it highly unlikely that this fight is going to go the distance.
Oh, I don't think so. And Tank's breathing real heavy here right now, too. A cut under Rizzo's left eye.
That was the one open from before, from the stitches he came in with, as we mentioned.
And Rizzo's got tremendous movement skill. He's able to avoid those quick bull rushes by Tank Abbott. Tank should stand still, make Rizzo come to him. Tank also has a problem. He's never been able to stop leg kicks. If Rizzo keeps leg kicking like that, he could take the legs right out from Tank Abbott.
That is how he lost to Maurice Smith. from the bar stool to the octagon because of leg kicks.
Hizzo has got Tank tired.
Tank's got his hands on his waist. Listen to the cheers of Hizzo. Hizzo again with the kick, and it buckles the left knee of Tank Abbott. Tank tries a big shot, and he drives him to the mat.
And he's going to find himself underneath. He might get choked there. Oh, he's got his head up now. He might get a double leg takedown.
Tank's a street fighter. He's a pit fighter, but he is also a very experienced wrestler.
Yes, he is. He's had some experience in wrestling. You saw it there. Nice double leg. Kept his head up back straight. Able to lift Hizzo. Didn't get him off the ground, but was able to twist, knock him down. He's got the takedown. Look for him to take a brief rest here. Try to get some composure. Then watch him go for a sprint. He'll start to strike. But he is tired already. He got dazed, and that certainly is going to add to the fatigue because he's frustrated.
Bas Rutten in the corner of Pedro Hizzo with Marco Ruas still traveling back from Japan, where he suffered a heartbreaking defeat. Hizzo's nickname in Holland is The Rock. And he took a shot to the chin already early.
Tank needs to be careful. He could get stood up unless he's active here.
Well, Hizzo told us yesterday that he didn't think he could trade power with Tank, but yet he tried to throw the strikes concurringly early in the matchup. Hizzo, a good striker, good skills on his feet.
Oh, he certainly picked at Tank. Tank bull rushed him, and he was able to land those nice shots that stunned Tank Abbott and certainly brought this crowd into this fight. Tank has never had a real good pass the guard game. He was able to do it to some people, but not against an experienced Brazilian.
One of the early criticisms of David Tank Abbott is you can't go blind with pure aggressiveness because of the danger of burning yourself out. Just a rabbit punch to the jaw. Tank has been hit a lot worse than that hundreds of times in his life.
The key here is Tank wants to regroup, but it seems every time he starts to raise up, Hizzo catches him with a shot. Tank drops his head, and he starts out in the same position the whole thing started from. So all he accomplished there was getting hit. Nowhere did he gain any kind of positional advantage.
What a great first 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Already one of the Brazilians has won this evening. Ebenezer Fontes Braga defeating Jeremy Horn in a middleweight fight. This another American against Brazilian matchup here on a very popular card in Sao Paulo, as the Brazilians try to go 2 for 2 in their fights against North American opponents tonight. Our main event, Vitor Belfort and Vanderlei Silva, two Brazilians battling still on our card this evening. And still later, Frank Shamrock and John Lober for the middleweight belt.
And Hizzo wound up to deliver an elbow to the back of Tank Abbott's head, something that's legal under Brazilian rules. But here he was able to gain composure. This shows that this is a thinking game. He stopped himself. He just can't seem to get on track at all. You notice how Hizzo's legs are hooked into the hip area of Tank, pushing him back, keeping Tank from getting any closer to him so his hands can hit him. Great fundamental tactic here by Pedro Hizzo.
Now remember, the last time Tank was in the octagon, he beat one of Pedro Hizzo's other heroes, Hugo Duarte, who Tank jokingly said, "Oh, is that the guy in the coffee can?" Tank will always say what's on his mind. That is what many love the most about him, is that he is pure. But Hizzo was concerned because there's such great pressure for him to win in his homeland here this evening.
I don't know anyone that would not have a pucker factor staring into the eyes of Tank Abbott going into a fight. There's just no way that I would ever want to do it. Certainly someone who has never faced Tank Abbott and seen the kind of power that Tank Abbott has in his punches, you would have to be concerned about that. But the other side of Tank Abbott is it is not sophisticated. It is not strategic. It is pretty apparent what he is going to do.
They're back to their feet. Out of the guard. Who's this good for, Jeff?
I believe they're going to be taking a peek at the cut. I don't know if there was a foul or not. No, it looks like he's looking at the cut.
No water.
No water because of the danger of it going off the shoulder and into the octagon.
Are you ready?
Right, that was just basically stood him up. I'm not sure whether he checked